Hey guys, it's Billy. Long time no see. Just coming at you this time with a trifecta of VCLT. It's been a while. I apologize for not making a video. I know this seems like the same old shtick every time I'll make a video, or I'll make 2 or 3 videos and then you won't see me for a month or so. But I've had one of these VCLT packages for quite some time. It's been like it's been here 3 or 4 weeks. That one is from David Michael in Canada, which is Naz Nomad. You guys know David is Naz Nomad here in the VC. The second VCLT package I received was from Brother Farley. And then just yesterday I received a VCLT package from Andy over at Andy's Vinyl Den. All 3 really great dudes. You guys, I'm sure, are familiar with all those guys. They've been buddies of mine since I've been in the VC now for not quite a year, but you couldn't ask for better dudes. And they had sent me some really cool stuff, so I figured instead of making 3 separate videos, I'd just cram them all into one video here for you. As I'm sure y'all are well aware, like I said, you're well aware of their channels. If not, just down below, and I will have all their information for you. Go check out their channels. Give them a sub if you're not already subscribed. If you're not already subscribed. Anyway, let's jump right into it here. This is I get this heads up from David Michael up in Canada. A while back, he had shown a couple videos. He had picked up. I don't even know where. I can't remember, but he had shown this Easy-E. I guess it's not really a 12-inch single, but I mean it is. It's more like an EP. It's got like 4 or 5 songs on it, but it's the We Want Easy EP. Yeah, 12-inch maxi single here. So I did not have this, and he was kind enough to send it my way, which I greatly appreciate. So that adds to the Easy-E collection there. Thank you very much, David. And then I think he had sent me a message and asked if he was in a flea market or something, and had asked if he knew I was a big fan of David Allan Coe. And this is one that I have needed for quite some time. It's just been eluding me. I think I talked with Brother Steve, Harmless Rebel, about this one as well. I think he had shown this one, but it's David Allan Coe's Just Divorced. This one has Mona Lisa Lost Her Smile. I think that's the only big one on this record, but what a great single and song that was. There's tons of great songs on here though, but that was one that filled a huge hole in my collection. So thank you for that, David. That was a great package, very thoughtful of you. I really appreciate it, brother. And then moving on to Farley. Farley had been given some records by a friend of his a few weeks back, and said that some of them he wasn't interested in keeping. He was going to keep some, but if anybody was interested in anything, just give him a shout. And this is an early Kevin Cronin REO Speedwagon record. This is Good Trouble, one that I wasn't very familiar with. So this is from 1982. This is right before the big stuff, you know, all those 80s power ballads. But it says contains the hit single Keep the Fire Burning. I can honestly say I'm not familiar with anything on this album. It was a sealed copy when Farley had sent it to me, so I cracked it open and gave it a spin, and it's just really great REO stuff on there. Like I said, I couldn't name any of the songs, but I did enjoy it, so thank you very much for that, Farley. And then one other thing that Farley had sent along was this was an upgrade copy for me of Aerosmith's Toys in the Attic. Just a beautiful copy. Mine was pretty trashed. So Farley, again, man, thank you for that. I think I'm still waiting on one more thing to get. I've got a package set aside. Actually, I have a package set aside for all three of these guys. I believe Andy's is finally complete, but Farley's I'm still waiting on one more thing. So I'll get you guys something back out here real soon. And then finally here we have something from Andy over at Andy's Vinyl Den. Andy had been given a huge stack of records from a lady, his next door neighbor, I believe, an elderly lady, older woman, he said, that had a huge stack of records in her garage, and she said Andy could have them if he just went over and dug out the records from the garage. But the catch was he had to give her back the, well, I don't know, Perry Como, Andy Williams, and something else. Herb Alpert records. So I'm just making up those names, but I know Herb Alpert was one of them. So you know, Andy was like, well, hell, if she wants to keep that stuff, what in the hell else kind of junk is in there? But there was some really nice stuff in there, Andy, and I appreciate you sharing it, not only with us through video, but offering to share some of the things with other VC members that you may have already had as far as duplicates or stuff that you weren't interested in. So I immediately saw two things that caught my eye. This is the first Eagles record, and a beautiful, beautiful copy. Of course, I have this record, but I knew immediately that this was going to be an upgrade to what I had. And Andy said that was available. So man, I was so stoked. This Johnny Rodriguez, Johnny's one that I really just started getting into. I picked up an old greatest hits record, and I'm thinking, dude, I'd always heard about Johnny Rodriguez, but I never did really. He wasn't played on the radio around here, so I didn't really get familiar with him or have the opportunity to get familiar with him. But man, just picking up that greatest hits record for a few bucks. They had some really minty records in country records in the record store, and I picked that up for like, I don't know, $4, something like that. I absolutely loved his stuff, so I can't wait to give this one a spin. Thank you for that, Andy. And then Andy threw in a couple more things here, LP wise. These old time life country music classics. Marty Robbins. This one is still sealed. Can't wait to break this open because it has so many great songs on it. Which I have a handful of these. I have like the Kenny Rogers, the Dolly Parton. Buck Owens, Johnny Cash. I have a handful of these, and then you know what? Believe it or not, they sound pretty darn good. But this has "I'll Go On Alone," "Singing the Blues," "Knee Deep in the Blues," "White Sport Coat," "El Paso," and then you get into songs like "Devil Woman," "Ribbon of Darkness," "My Woman, My Woman, My Wife," and "El Paso City." So thank you for that, Andy. And then. The last LP that he sent along was a Billy Crash Craddock, and I'm not familiar. I know who Crash is, but I'm not familiar with any of his music. So I'll definitely give it a spin and see. But you know, it definitely looks like that cheesy '70s country. This is what, late '70s probably, 1980. So yeah, that's right when country music began to get really cheesy. But look at that. You know, Farley's going to get turned on here. Look at that chest hair, man. That's like straight out of a Paul Stanley's wardrobe right there. So thank you for that, Andy. And then lastly here, Andy had mentioned a while back, he asked if I collected CDs as well. And I do. I don't collect CDs nearly as much as I do LPs, but I do collect CDs. I have, at one point I had like 3,000 CDs, and then whenever it was probably the early 2000s, I ended up burning everything had the genius idea of burning everything onto CDRs and getting rid of a lot of my originals. I mean, I kept my Kiss stuff, my Skynyrd stuff, my Steve Earle stuff, and then some of my rare, hard to find stuff, which I'm glad I hung on to some of that stuff, some of my Danzig imports and Metallica imports and things like that. But I did get rid of a ton of my 90s country stuff, which I really wish I hadn't have done. But this is something that is really cool because I really do enjoy this guy. You guys know I'm not much on new country, but this guy's not. I would never classify him or label him with those guys. But this is Pat Green, What I'm For, and it's a signed copy that Andy had forwarded along. This is the title track on this is just awesome. I mean, you know, it says. What is it? I'm for dusty pawn shop guitars and boxers past their prime. Of course, I can't remember it. Anyways, it's something about listening to an old man tell stories when he's got the time. For laid off factory workers, when the wolf cries at the door, when the wolf knocks at the door, you don't have to guess what I'm against if you know what I'm for. It's just a great song, and Pat's a tremendous singer-songwriter. So Andy, I want to thank you for sending this along. That'll fit in real well with the great country stuff in my CD collection. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I plan on making a couple more videos here in the next few days, so stay tuned. I know I got Andy's contest and Farley's contest that I need to really jump in on here and get those done. But I've been working around the house a ton. You know, work's been keeping me busy, but work outside of work, Mama's been keeping me busy here around the house. We decided not to go on vacation this year, and so she decided to take that money and sink it back into the house. And so even though I had 2 weeks off from work at the All-Star break, you know, I was busting my balls around the house trying to get things done. But you know what? It's going to be really nice when it's done. When it's all finished up here in the next week or so, I will share all that with those of you who care. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Peace.